All right, since we're back in school now, let's zoom in so you can copy the top half first and the bottom half second. A little bit easier for you guys to see if you're looking on the screen in your teacher's room, right? Happy Thursday. You can see the KenKen, the diamonds, and the square roots. Go ahead and copy that down. All right, let's get the bottom half now. You got two simplifying problems, and those are both division. Right? And then you have two estimating problems. One's dividing and the other is, what does of mean again? What does of mean again? Who knows? Hopefully you guys are saying multiply. And again, after you write the word of, then put an X through it because you can see of and the times sign. And those things together will help you remember that of means times in math. Okay? All right. It's on pause. Go ahead and copy that down, and then you can start working on it. All right, you have the top and the bottom. Okay, let's get some answers. What we got here on these first diamonds, I'm looking for two numbers have a product of 48 and a sum of 14. And I say product and sum a lot because I want you guys to have that word, both those words internalized. That means you have them in your body and you know exactly what they mean. And what happens is those words become familiar to you, and the more you hear them. But what works even better than hearing them is saying them. Okay, so I challenge you guys to start using those words: product, sum, difference, and quotient. You know, difference is two numbers, one number subtracted. You know, and the quotient is what you get when you divide two numbers. Okay, all right. Two numbers have a product of 48. The sum of 14 are going to be 8 and 6. And for 42 and 13, those of you with integrity have seen that one so many times that you have that. You're familiar with that, and that is stuck in your brain, right? All right, here we got a 3 and a 1 and a 3 and a 1, or a 1 and a 3 and a 1 and a 3. The point is I can't have a 2 in either of these two boxes, and I need a 2 in that column. So, got to have a 2 there. I can't have a 2 in either of these two boxes, and I need a 2 in that column. So, got to have a 2 there. I have a 2 in the first column and the third column. I have a 2 in the top row and the third row, but I don't have a 2 in the middle row or middle column. So, there's going to have to be a 2 there. Once you get those three numbers, everything falls into place, right? You got a 2 and a 2, that's 4. These three add to 7, missing a 3. Okay, I got a 3 and I got a 2, so this is going to have to be a 1. Before I had that, I didn't know if it was 3 minus 2 equals 1 or 2 minus 1 equals 1. Now I know it's the 1. I have a 1 and a 2 here. I don't have a 3 in that top. And then 3 times what is 3? 3 times 1, and that helps me in that third column because now I have a 1, a 2, and a 3, right? Now I have a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2. What's missing here? What's missing here? Well, I'm missing a 1 here. I'm missing a 3 there. And it is 3 times 1, 3. It works. We're all good. All right. What number squared is 9/49? Well, what's the square root of 9? And what's the square root of 49? So the square root of 9 over 49 is 3/7. How about the square root of 25 over 81? It's going to be 5/9. And 81 over 100? It's going to be 9/10. How about the square root of x to the second power over 36? Well, what times x, or what times itself is x to the second power? Well, that's x, right? And what times itself is 36? 6. So this ends up being x over 6. Don't be afraid of those variables. Right? I know some people, they see that, oh, I'm scared, I can't do that. I want you to stop, breathe. When you breathe, you know what happens when you breathe out like that? Okay? Your mind gets open. Doors that were in your mind that were closed with answers hidden behind them, those doors now get open. You can think better when you're relaxed, and you relax when you take a deep breath. Just like that, okay? When you're stressed out in a test, when you can't find your keys or your iPhone charger, take a deep breath. Try it. I swear, you will be able to think better. Okay, that's why people that were relaxed before a test will often do better during the test. Okay, what's the most popular wrong answer for the square root of 16? A lot of people want to put an 8 there because 16, and if you take half of it, it's 8. But I don't want half of it. I want what number times itself. So that's going to be a 4. Now, what's the square root of a squared? A. So that's going to be 4 over a. Now this, I have a square root inside a square root. What's that supposed to mean? Well, let's work our way outside. What's the square root of 81? 9. What's the square root of 9? 3. So the square root of the square root of 81 is 3. Same idea for the square root of 256. The square root of 256 is 16. And what's the square root of 16? It's not 8. We went through this. All right. Hope you did well on those. Now let's simplify. What is this? This is a division problem. But check this out. What if I multiplied, right? I don't like that decimal in here. If I want to get rid of that, I have to move it over 2 spots. Well, that's like multiplying it by 100. If I want this fraction to equal this, to be equivalent, I have to have 100 on top. Remember, that's like that magic 1. Remember that? Right? So multiply it by 100, it moves over 2 spots. If I multiply this by 100, it also moves it over 2 spots. So I end up with 16.8 divided by 12. Now I go divide the bottom into the top. And I just have a decimal inside the box. And if there's a decimal inside the box, all I got to do is move it up. Right? So that's a cool way of looking at it. If you didn't do that, then you went straight to dividing the bottom into the top. And hopefully, when you wrote that problem, you didn't start dividing with a decimal outside the box. Because what would happen? Yeah, the math police would come and get you. Woo, 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 right? You got to move it over. And remember, if I move it over 2 spots to get rid of the decimal here, I got to move it over 2 spots inside. And this is when I asked the class, I said, raise your hand if you're smart. And if someone doesn't raise their hand because they aren't paying attention, I'll pick on them and I'll say, Johnny, if you were smart, what would you do right here? If you ever get caught in my class and I'm asking you, if you were smart, what would you do? Always say, rewrite the problem. Okay, right? This is really messy and confusing. What am I really doing here? 12 into 16.8. Well, rewrite it. So you have 12 into 16.8, because this is 10 times simpler and less confusing than that. Okay, that's what you want to do on these. All right, so how many times does 12 go into 16? 1 time. 1 times 12 is 12. And then how many times does 12 go into 48? And after I put that 1 there and subtract, bring down that next number, I have 48. And how many times does 12 go into 48? Well, that's a nice even 4 times, right? That fits. So 1 4/10 there. And that kind of makes sense. When I look at this, 16 is a little bit more, 16/12 is a little bit more than 1 whole, right? Okay. All right. Same idea here. I'm dividing. Remember, the first number goes in the box, and the second number goes outside the box. Now, really, man, this is a really small number, right? I got to move the decimal over 3 spots outside the box, right? So 1, 2, 3 to get it over there. Well, I got to do the same thing inside, right? 1, 2, 3. And what do you do here? You say fill in that egg card. And again, raise your hand if you're smart. If you were smart, what would you do right here? Okay, rewrite it. Don't divide with all these 6 scoops and 4 decimals. What is this problem? It's 5 into 1, 3, 200. Okay, and then go divide. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room to do on that back. So 132,000, which is really 13,200. Now, 5 goes into 13 twice. 2 times 5 is 10. Bring down the next number. 5 goes into 32 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. Bring down the next number. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Write down that next number, and 5 goes into 0 times. So 2,640. Whoops. 2,640. Let's circle our answer there. Let's circle our answer there. Okay. All right. What's your favorite word to see on a big problem like this? Estimate. What are you going to underline in that word estimate? That E. And what is that supposed to remind you? That you're supposed to make this problem easy. You don't need the exact answer. You want to save time. If you didn't make the problem easy, you didn't do it right. Now, when you are making a problem easy with division problems, I want you to round the second number first. Or if it's written the first number over the second number, right? I want you to round the bottom number first. So 5.92 is too hard. Let's make that a nice, easy 6. Okay? Now, if it is a 6, I don't want to round this to 40. I don't want to round it to 41 because neither of those help make that easy, right? Remember that E means easy. I want it to be easy. So what number close to 40 and 82 hundredths would make this easy? Well, you get your multiplication chart. If you don't know your facts very well, you need some help, right? Get some help. Okay, I'm looking at sixes. What number does 6 go into that's close to 40 42. 42 is just a little bit bigger than that. Let's change that to 42, and now my answer is 7. Boom. Okay, that made it easy. That's what you want to do. Okay, when you're estimating, when you have a fraction of a number, what you're doing is you're saying that bottom number goes into a number close to this. Does 7 go into 29? No. Does it go into a number close to 29? Hopefully you recognize it goes into 28. So I'm going to change this to 280. All right, 300 wouldn't make it easy. And then I say 7 goes into 28 4 times. So 7 goes into 280 40 times. 1/7 of 280 is 40. 3/7 of 280 is 3 40s, which is 120. So my estimate for 3/7 of 290 is I'm looking at that 7, change that to 280. 7 goes into 280 40 times, and I take 3 of them. 3 times 40, my estimate is 120. Okay? Now that wasn't simple, but it was much easier than doing this problem, and it got me pretty close. Okay? All right. Hopefully you got that. We'll practice some more of those as we go forward, and hopefully you're having a great Aloha Thursday. We will see you tomorrow.